is up, Nerf Nation? It's your boy Nomadico, and I am back with another blaster review. I know it has been a while since I've actually done one of these videos, but you know what? Life has been really busy. Got the big blaster consortium up and running, and yeah, business is actually doing okay. It's kept me pretty busy, and I haven't been able to do any reviews. But that's okay, because we haven't had many blaster releases out there until now. Now, of course, I did do a review on the Cobalt Fury and the Jade Fury. Those nonsensical, Ward reshells that were $17 worth of crap at Target. Yeah, you know what? I did a review. I didn't launch it because, they said if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Well, yeah, I had less than nice things to say about them. But anyway, that being said, if you have not seen the Cobalt or the Jade Fury, you're not missing much. Save yourself $17. Don't buy that. Like, seriously, you're gonna have a bad day. However, this is the big one. Now, this is the one that I've actually been waiting for since right around mid-2024 when I was part of a research group with Hasbro, part of their fun labs, and I saw this blaster before anyone else, and I got really excited. I'm talking about the Galactic Commander. Now, it is time to go to infinity and beyond when we look at this blaster. Galactic Commander, by all accounts, essentially is a regulator reshell for N series. So capable of select fire with full auto, semi-auto, and burst fire. It is essentially just a glorified regulator. Now, it does come with several attachments. It is part of the loadout series, so you should be able to change these attachments out with other N series blasters of the same line. However, unlike the other N series blasters, each one has its own skin. So whether or not the attachments will match, that's up to debate. So that being said, of course, I will tell you that at first glance, I'm not impressed so far, even though I want to love this blaster. And here's why. At first glance, I see this is supposed to be the flagship of their new line, similar to the Infinite was for the original N-Series rollout. And I see it's an open box. So yeah, you can see attachments, but I feel like this blaster deserves more respect. Now, the price point on this is $49.99. You can actually get those available now at Walmart via their app. I've not seen these on Target or Myers just yet, but I'm sure that they'll eventually roll out to there, unless Walmart has exclusivity, which is entirely possible because the Sprinter has not been released on any other platform but Walmart. So, but yeah, there you have it. Of course, on the back, it does show you the different little detailings and the different attachments and how they attach. So we're going to open up this blaster real quick, and we're going to take it out of here because obviously you can see it. What's in the box is that it comes with 48 darts, 2 magazines, the blaster itself. Of course, it does take batteries, which are not included because why are they going to include a battery? Though it would be cool if they were to adopt a page out of all the other blaster books and include like a 7.6 volt lithium ion polymer pack or lithium ion pack. And that way it's a rechargeable battery. But again, that's a wish list. But at $49.99, that's not too big of an ask, really. But, oh well. Let's take a look at what's inside this blaster. All right, so first thing is this blaster box, it is pretty big. The box that it came in was really pretty large. I mean, it was about a 3.5 foot tall box and about 2 feet wide, about 8 inches thick. So it's a pretty hefty box. This is going to take a lot of shelf space. I don't think we might see this on the store shelves. I think it might be an app only because, retail space is a hot commodity, and they can fit a whole bunch of smaller blasters in the space of this one big one. So it does have plastic strips on here. We're going to snip everything out and remove everything. We have our little scope here. It does have a targeting reticule inside, so that's kind of nice. It's not just the faux empty barrel, but no magnification, which, I mean, you're not going to shoot too far of a distance with this. Let's be honest. And we have our barrel. That looks really nice. It has a really cool design here. It's almost like a barcode. That's kind of neat. Yeah. Then you have the main body of the blaster. Of course, it does look like it is part of Star Command. Star Command's emblem is right here. So, you know, literally when I said to infinity and beyond, that's because that is what it reminds me of. It's like Buzz Lightyear. Set this down to the side. We have our magazine, one, and it does come with 2 mags, which is awesome. That has been a major complaint of mine with Hasbro, is that they don't give you enough magazines with flywheels. So the fact that this one's capable of full auto and gives you a 2, wow, this is a decent sized mag. Does it say how many it holds? It does not, but it does look like it has that little clip system here. So the spring system here, so this is good. This is similar to the Ultra Speed mags, and which means it should work with all of the other blasters that are mag fed, except for the Infinite. Though I feel like Hasbro missed out on reusing the Infinite magazine. The design on this magazine, I kind of like the styling of it. It feels pretty solid. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of give, but it's not too bendy. So, there we go. You got 2 magazines. This looks like it might be an 18 dart magazine. I don't think they've ever done a 20 dart magazine, not with a Hasbro product. Normally they will tell you how many darts it can hold, but it doesn't say. We'll see if we can find that out. And then, of course, you have your buttstock, which is a mag holder as well. Again, I do feel like they could have put this in an enclosed box and it would have presented better, but that just should slip in like so, okay? And your dart comes up on the top, so doesn't shake out, but it's easy to remove, so that's promising. And of course, it does attach using an N-strike buttstock. And then we have our instructions, which we're going to read very thoroughly. Yep, very thorough. Oh, so thorough. Look at me. I'm reading it. Yep, whatever. We fail like men. Okay, so actually I'm glad I read the instructions. It is an 18 dart maximum load, so that's what I thought. That is the largest that I've ever seen of Hasbro branded magazines. Worker does make a 22 dart mag, but I've never seen a 20 dart Hasbro branded one that's not a drum mag. Let me preface that. So, yeah. And then we have our darts that are in this box in here, which, let's see if we can get them out here without ripping this box open. There's tape. Oh, it folds open. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's actually a cellophane packaging. They didn't use the crappy wonton paper. Wow. This is why the blaster costs $49.99. I'm just joking. All right, so let's put this box to the side. And let's look at the blaster itself. So, of course, we do have the blaster here, and it is made like any of the original N-Series blasters, that you can take apart the attachments and just run them separately. You don't need the attachments, but if you want to look tactical, you do add them. Now, this is the select fire mechanism. I'm assuming that 1 is for semi-auto, 2 is for burst, I guess it clicks, and then 3 is for full auto. So that's kind of neat. That is different than the regular because the regular had the switch, so I kind of like the turning nozzle. You do have a mag release here, which is on the actual knuckle guard itself. My hand, that's kind of small, so a larger hand might have a problem with this, but that is really good positioning for your mag release. So that's cool. The grip itself, in spite of its size being an issue, is surprisingly comfortable. Not quite as comfortable as like the rival Fate, but it is hands down better than some of the offerings from other companies, such as Siren. So yeah, I'll take that as a win. Then, of course, you have the magazine here. You do have a bottom rail here and a long top rail here. This is tactical rail. It is not Picatinny, and it looks like they went back to the classic tactical rail with these quote-unquote Picatinny grooves. Now, I do have the ability to print out a Picatinny, I guess, adapter for this. So that might be in the works in the future. And I might put that on the Blaster Consortium page itself. If this is a regulator, all we need is for someone like Buff Daddy Nerf is to design a better cage, which I really wish there would be support for that. And then using a buck, you should probably be able to bypass the board and lipo this sucker up. But again, we'll talk about that later. Now, batteries, I'm going to guess 8. I'm going to guess 8. I don't think this will hold 6. I was wrong. 6 batteries. So, yeah, I have 6 batteries. We can use this and test with AA's. Normally, I would use my IMRs, but those have started to go bad on me after several years. But, you know, it is what it is. So let me go get some batteries. We'll load this up, and then we'll come back with the actual full blaster assembled. So, yeah, of course, it's not going to seem like that long for you because of the magic of video editing. So now we'll be back. You see, like I said, fast because of video editing. So we're back with the blaster. It is fully assembled. Of course, we do have only one magazine loaded. I'm going to be discussing the magazines here shortly. Because of this little, I guess, clip system that they have here, I just should say the spring system that they have, the magazine, once you actually put it in, you don't want to take it out until it is empty, because if you take it out while there's still darts in here, that lip actually is opened up by a mechanism inside the blaster, so the darts just feed straight up into it. So because of that, once you actually put it in there, make sure you don't take it out until it's unloaded completely, because of the fact that you're going to have darts that just fall out. So we're going to load this up right now, and I do have the batteries in here. You can hear it does take a second for the motors to actually rev up properly with the AA batteries. You're looking at roughly 9 volts at 1.5 volt per battery times 6, so 6 plus, so 9 volts. You could probably put a 2S LiPo in here, or just switch it out with a 9 volt battery and get the same effect. So I might do the buck conversion on here, so I can actually run 11 volts on here and see if we can actually get more juice out of that. When I do IMRs, I'm able to get the Sprinter to hit almost 100. So I'm thinking that with this should hit right around the 90 to 92 on semi-auto, and maybe a sustained 85 in full auto, where we're actually going to put it through its paces. I'm also curious to see how many darts per second it can actually fire. So that being said, what we won't be able to do is a distance test because of the time of day it is, and also it's starting to get that time where it's getting... Well, the weather's a little wonky here in central Ohio. So, but let's talk magazines, because I noticed one thing when I loaded this magazine, and I'm going to load up the other magazine right now so you can hear it and see what I'm talking about. Because there is possibly, and I mean possibly, an issue with the magazine. I didn't notice this before with the one for the Sprinter or the Pinpoint, but I'm definitely noticing it now. So you can hear the spring. That's really sounds very cheap. It sounds like there's something wrong with the spring mechanism. It does load. However, you do have to push the darts down in there, past those lips. And once you do that, oh, that dart's loaded backwards. Of course, now that I do that, that spring's not wanting to come out. Let me see if I can get a screwdriver in here and unload these darts. There we go, that's one. That's not good. There we go. They even have a little thing here that shows you which way they load the darts, and I just didn't see it because, again, it's very small. It's not as obvious as the other Hasbro magazines. So now they're springing up the way they should. So it does say 18 max. We're going to put in these 18. I'm going to actually slip these into the buttstock so we can see how that feels. Because again, it's a pretty long magazine, and running with 2 pretty long magazines, you might have that awkward sensation of just having an extra long fin or tail on the side of your blaster. Well, looks like my 3D print job is done. So that's one too many. All right. So there we have 18 darts in here. Let's get our blaster. Again, this is a pretty hefty blaster. I will say that the size is nice. The weight is great. This feels really comfortable. This is reminiscent of the X-Shot motorized piston pump with that little handle up here up front. Now, there is pick rail right here, I should say tactical rail down here. So you can actually put a grip here if you wanted to. I may go and actually design something for this in the future because of the fact that, again, I like having a further grip up here. That way I can just, just have it there. So, of course, you do have 2 tactical rails, one on either side of the barrel itself. The barrel, it's actually really nifty. The way you slide it on here, it's just like any end strike lug. It just slips in here. And the design is so cool because there is that gap there, but it just looks really good. I mean, it looks great. This is a fantastic looking design. Even if the blaster performs poorly, I will not take away the cool factor of how it looks. So there's that. And again, the skin on it is just, chef's kiss. But again, I'm biased. I like space stuff, so let's slip this in the right way. There we go. So it does feel a little chunky when it's on your side. I mean, I'm a left-handed shooter, right-handed shooter again. It does feel a little chunky when this is actually on your side. Now, I am a larger individual, so I got these little jelly rolls on the side that they rest against and it pushes against. But a skinnier nerfer might not have that problem. But for me, as a full-bodied individual, I'm thick and sexy. It does feel a little awkward. So maybe if I had a bandolier for this, it would run it better. Or if there was actually a mag holder that I could put it on the front rail right here, that way I could just slide this out and then pop it on there. That might be the best alternative. Now, the sight, that is not too bad. As for accuracy, it's an N1 dart, so how much accuracy are you going to get? But you do have the tacticalness of it, so yeah. I feel like this one, depending on how fast it fires, or let's just say what the FPS is, it might be a viable HVZ blaster. So we'll see. HVZ 135 maximum. Even if you actually put a lipo on here and kept the stock cage, the most you're going to get is like 110. So that might be it might be viable for HVZ. I'd love to see somebody run N1 in an HVZ dart, N1 darts in an HVZ event. So who knows? Maybe I'll do space commanders against aliens instead of zombies versus humans. So, but yeah, all in all, I mean, I'm digging the comfort of this. So let's actually run this through the chronograph and see if the performance matches the cool factor. Okay, so we're back with the final thoughts regarding the Galactic Commander. So, I am okay with this blaster. There are a couple of things though that need to be addressed, and because again, I'm all about honesty and doing an honest review. I am not a Hasbro fanboy. I'm not a Dart Zone fanboy. I am a realist. I'm even not an X-Shot fanboy, even though I've been accused of that recently. So that being said, the blaster does have one glaring issue, and it is the same issue that everybody crapped on Dart Zone about with the Omnia. I'm referring to the trigger delay. There is a distinct delay in semi-auto, and the reason being is because of the fact that it is a belt-fed system like the regulator. So because of that, you are not going to get an automatic fire the moment you pull the trigger. There's a delay about maybe 3/4 of a second before from when you pull the trigger and the dart flies out. So keep that in mind. Again, it's an electronic trigger. Plus, it's a $49 blaster, which means that they did not put the best possible things in here, to say the least. As opposed to the Omnia that was like a $90 blaster. So I'm going to give a pass on that. But I want to set expectations. It is not a rapidly responding blaster. Now, the full auto, it does drain pretty well. And even the burst auto, the ba-ba-ba, is actually okay too. This is a great backyard battle blaster. It also is going to work indoors as well. FPS-wise, with stock 1.5 volt AA batteries, so 9 volts, we were hitting well over 90 at one point. So obviously the more you rev it, the better it's going to be. This blaster could probably do with a motor swap. If we were to put hobby grade motors in here that responded faster, it might rev up faster and it might be a better blaster. But as it stands right now, for a backyard battle, even for an HVZ spec, it is safe to take out. I'm okay with paying $49 for this. So the switch itself, obviously, you know, you get this clicking noise. It borders on the feels like you might break it if you twist too hard, versus feeling sturdy. So I'm gonna tell you to be careful with that. You know, it feels like this is just one really good pull from, you know, just breaking the mechanism. And I guess that's a small QC issue, but that's more on who's playing with it. It does say that it's 8 and up. I recommend this for being 8 and up. I don't recommend giving this to a 6-year-old because of the fact that it's a $49 blaster, and the power that's behind here, even though it's not a pro level blaster, I don't trust like a 6-year-old not trying to shoot someone's face with this. And even though these darts are made to be squishy, you're going to have a bad day if you take one of these to the eye, just so you know. That being said, iPro, with N series, I feel like you can get away if you're not wearing iPro. Don't quote me on that. Me personally, because of the fact that I just wear regular glasses, that technically counts as eye protection. However, if I didn't wear glasses, I personally would feel fine. But again, I have to be responsible and tell you, always wear iPro. I feel like with N series, because of what they're trying to do with it being a higher performance blaster compared to Elite. Thank you. That's one of my dogs. I feel like they should have provided some sort of eye protection for people, but again, that's neither here nor there. Now, other than that, this blaster's fun. I love the design factor of it. It's comfortable to hold. This little eyepiece is actually pretty decent. It does function. When you're aiming, you want to aim a little bit higher than what you're targeting at. So that being said, you know, again, it is N series, so it's not known for extreme accuracy. It's more accurate than Elite in the sense that it'll hit within 2 feet of your aiming, technically. But yeah. I am excited to see what the modding community can do with this. Again, hopefully I can convince, and if he ever watches one of my videos, or maybe I'll see him either at Conk or at Kane, if I can convince Buff Daddy to design a cage using, you know, N series, you know, making it just a little bit more compression. That way it grips the dart a little bit, you know, better and just zoops it out faster. That would be fantastic. I really want to see, people try to use N series or N1 darts out of flywheels, not competitively, but for club play. I just think it'd be fun. I really do. Kind of like the same way that I like to run Ultra every now and then, because again, nobody expects it, and it's just a fun, goofy ammo type, and that's what this hobby's about. So there you have it. This is the Galactic Commander, folks. Again, it is available on Walmart's app right now. I have not seen it on the storefronts yet, but hey, Hasbro, you actually beat Dart Zone to a new product launch, this year. So yeah, and it's something we haven't seen before. So good job. I want to thank y'all for watching. Until next time, y'all, keep on blasting.